Do you remember the last time you lay awake at night, replaying a conversation in your head, wondering if you said the wrong thing? Or maybe you've scrolled endlessly through social media, comparing your life to others, feeling like you're falling behind. Let me ask you something. What exactly are you chasing? And who are you trying to impress? We live in a world where caring too much has become a silent epidemic. Not caring in the sense of love or kindness, but in the sense of attachment. We care too much about what others think. We care too much about the things we can't control. We care too much about outcomes that, in the grand scheme of life, don't even matter. Here's the truth: no one tells you most of what you care about is a prison of your own making. Every time you obsess over someone else's opinion of you, every time you wrap your identity around success, failure, or material things, you're tightening the chains around your own freedom. And the Stoics knew this thousands of years ago. The Stoics, thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, understood something profound. The root of suffering is caring about things that don't matter or that aren't within your control. They believed that freedom isn't about having power, money, or fame. It's about letting go of what you can't control and focusing only on what you can. And that's what we're here to explore together. But first, let's confront the hard truth. Why do you care so much? Why does someone's opinion of you matter at all? Why does the fear of failure stop you from trying? Why do you feel the need to prove yourself to people who probably won't even remember your name a year from now? What are you really afraid of? You see, caring is deeply tied to your ego. The ego is that voice in your head that says, I need to be liked. I need to succeed. I need to be the best. But here's the paradox: the more you chase these things, the more they slip through your fingers. You become a prisoner of your own desires.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Imagine this: you're standing on the shore, holding a handful of sand. If you try to grip it tightly, it slips through your fingers. But if you hold it loosely, gently, the sand stays in your hand. That's life. The more you cling to the things you care about, whether it's approval, success, or even love, the more you lose them. But if you let go, if you stop caring so much, you find freedom. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can I just stop caring? Isn't caring what makes me human? And you're right. Caring isn't the problem. It's what you care about that matters. The Stoics didn't advocate for apathy. They weren't saying you should stop loving or stop striving. Instead, they taught us to care about the right things, the things we can control. Let's take a moment to reflect. What are you holding on to right now that's causing you pain? Is it a grudge? A fear? A relationship that's no longer serving you? Ask yourself this: if you let it go, what's the worst that could happen? And more importantly, what's the best that could happen? Here's a simple exercise to ground yourself in Stoic wisdom. Take a piece of paper and draw 2 circles. In one circle, write down everything that's within your control: your thoughts, your actions, your choices. In the other circle, write down everything outside your control: other people's opinions, the past, the future. Now, look at those 2 circles and ask yourself, why am I pouring my energy into the things I can't control? What would happen if I focused only on the first circle? You might be surprised at how much lighter you feel. Because the moment you stop caring about what you can't control, you reclaim your power. You start living for yourself, not for others. And that's where true freedom begins. But let's go deeper. Why is it so hard to let go? Why do we cling to things that hurt us? The answer lies in attachment. We attach our sense of self-worth to things outside of us: our job, our relationships, our achievements. And when those things falter, we feel like we're losing a piece of ourselves. But here's the thing: you are not your job. You are not your relationship. You are not your achievements. Who you are is something far deeper, far more unshakable. Let me ask you this: if everything you cared about was taken away tomorrow, your possessions, your titles, even your reputation, who would you be? Would you still feel worthy? Would you still feel whole? And if not, why? What does that say about the way you've been living? The Stoics teach us that the only thing we truly own is our mind, our thoughts, our choices, our values. Everything else is borrowed. Your money, your status, even your body, all of it can be taken away. But your mind, that's yours. And when you stop caring about the things you don't own, you free yourself from fear, from insecurity, from the endless cycle of wanting and losing. So how do we apply this in our daily lives? Start by questioning everything you care about. When you feel stressed, ask yourself, why do I care? Is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. When you feel hurt by someone's words or actions, ask yourself, why do I care? Does this change who I am? If the answer is no, let it go. And here's a powerful mantra to carry with you: I will not let what I cannot control control me. Say it to yourself every time you feel overwhelmed. Write it down. Let it become a part of you. But let me warn you, this path isn't easy. Letting go of what you care about feels like losing a part of yourself. It feels like stepping into the unknown. But that's where growth happens. That's where freedom lives. And I promise you, the moment you stop caring about the things that don't matter, your life will change in ways you can't even imagine. So I'll leave you with this question: if you stopped caring about all the things that don't matter, what would your life look like? How would it feel to wake up every day, free from the weight of other people's opinions, free from the fear of failure, free from the need to prove yourself? Think about it. And when you're ready, let's move to the next part. When was the last time you felt truly free? Not the kind of freedom where you're on vacation or have no deadlines, but the kind where your mind felt unshackled, where nobody's words, opinions, or expectations had any power over you, and you walked through the world like nothing could touch you. If you can't remember, you're not alone. Most people never experience that kind of freedom because they're too busy holding on to things that don't belong to them. Think about this: every time you react to something outside of your control, you're giving it your energy. It's like handing over the keys to your peace of mind. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and you stew about it all day. A coworker says something critical, and it eats away at you for hours. Why does this happen? Because you've trained your mind to latch onto these things as if they're important, but they're not. Let's break this down logically. What do you gain from caring about someone's opinion of you? Does it make you smarter, stronger, or more fulfilled? Does it pay your bills or add years to your life? Of course not. At best, it gives you a fleeting sense of validation. At worst, it makes you a puppet dancing to the strings of other people's judgments. And the worst part, it never ends. The moment one person approves of you, you'll crave it from someone else. It's a bottomless pit. Here's the Stoic perspective: the world is chaotic. People will misunderstand you. They'll judge you unfairly. You'll face setbacks, criticism, and rejection. But none of that is about you. It's just noise. And the noise only controls you if you let it. So, how do we break the cycle? How do we stop giving power to things that don't deserve it? It starts with detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring about life or people. It means you stop tying your happiness, your identity, and your peace to things outside of you. Imagine holding a glass of water. You know it's not a part of you, it's just something you're holding. If the glass slips and falls, you might feel annoyed for a moment, but you don't feel like you've lost a part of yourself. That's detachment. Now apply that same mindset to everything in your life, your possessions, your relationships, even your reputation. Can you hold them lightly, knowing they're not truly yours? Here's the paradox: when you let go of your need to control, you actually gain control. Think about it. If someone insults you and you truly don't care, their words lose all power. If you fail at something but don't base your worth on the outcome, failure becomes nothing more than a learning experience. When you detach, you regain your power, because nothing outside of you can shake your foundation. But detachment isn't just about ignoring problems or pretending nothing matters. It's about clarity. It's about seeing things as they are, not as you wish them to be. Most of the time, the things we care about are illusion stories we've created in our minds. We think, I need this person to like me, or I need this job to be happy, but do you? Or is it just a story you've told yourself? Here's a practical way to test this the next time you feel anxious or upset. Ask yourself, what story am I telling myself right now? Maybe it's, if I fail, people will think I'm worthless. Or, if they don't text me back, it means they don't care about me. Once you see the story, challenge it. Is it true, or is it just your mind creating drama? 9 times out of 10, it's the latter. When you stop believing these stories, you start to see the world differently. You realize that most of the things you've been chasing, approval, success, security, are just distractions. They're like mirages in the desert. And the more you chase them, the thirstier you become. Let's take it deeper. Why do you even want these things in the first place? Why do you care if someone likes you, or if you succeed, or if you're seen as enough? If you strip it all down, it usually comes back to fear. Fear of being alone, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough. But here's the kicker: these fears are lies. You think you need people's approval to be happy, but you don't. Happiness doesn't come from being liked, it comes from liking yourself. You think failure defines you, but it doesn't. Failure is just feedback. You think you're not enough, but that's only because you've been measuring yourself against an impossible standard. Here's the truth: you are already enough. Not because of what you've done or what you have, but because of who you are. The Stoics understood this. They believed that true worth comes from living in alignment with your values, not from external validation. So let's get practical again. What are your values? What do you actually care about, deep down? Not what society says you should care about, but what feels true to you. Is it kindness, honesty, growth, courage? Whatever it is, focus on living by those values and let everything else fall away. When you start living this way, something amazing happens. You stop worrying about things that don't align with your values. If someone doesn't like you, who cares? Their opinion doesn't affect your ability to be kind or courageous. If you fail, so what? Failure doesn't stop you from growing. When you focus on what truly matters, the rest becomes irrelevant. But this isn't easy. Letting go of the things you've been clinging to feels uncomfortable, even scary. It's like stepping into the unknown. But here's the thing: the unknown isn't the enemy. The real enemy is the prison you've built for yourself, the prison of caring too much about things that don't matter. So, let's flip the script. Instead of fearing the unknown, embrace it. Instead of clinging to what you think you need, let it go. What's the worst that could happen? And more importantly, what's the best that could happen? If you stop caring about what people think, you might finally feel free to be yourself. If you stop fearing failure, you might take risks that lead to incredible growth. If you stop trying to control things you can't control, you might discover a peace you've never known. This isn't just theory, it's something you can practice every day. The next time you feel yourself caring too much, pause, take a deep breath, and let it go. Remind yourself, this doesn't define me. This doesn't control me. I choose what matters. You'll notice something incredible. The more you let go, the lighter you feel. The less you care about the noise, the more energy you have for the things that truly matter. So here's the question: what are you ready to let go of right now? What's one thing you've been holding on to, one fear, one grudge, one expectation that you're finally ready to release? And what would your life look like if you did? Most people think freedom means doing whatever you want. But real freedom isn't about doing everything, it's about doing the right things. It's about cutting away the noise, the distractions, and the unnecessary weight you've been carrying. When you care too much, you dilute your energy. When you care about less, you focus your power. Think about a magnifying glass. If you hold it in the sun and move it around aimlessly, nothing happens. But if you hold it steady, focused on one point, it creates fire. That's you. Your mind is the magnifying glass, and your attention is the sunlight. When you care about everything, your power is scattered. But when you care about less, only the things that truly matter, you set your life on fire in the best possible way. Here's where most people get it wrong. They think not caring means becoming passive or lazy. But the opposite is true. It takes discipline to care about less, to say no to distractions, to focus only on what aligns with your values. This isn't apathy, it's action with purpose. Let's get specific. Look at how you spend your time. How much of it is wasted on things that don't move the needle in your life? How much energy do you pour into arguments, gossip, scrolling, or worrying about things that are completely out of your hands? Every time you do this, you're robbing yourself. You're taking time and energy that could be used for something meaningful and throwing it into a black hole. This is where discipline comes in. It's not about punishing yourself or forcing yourself to grind every second of the day. It's about being sharp, intentional, and ruthless with what you allow into your life. It's about asking, does this serve me? Does this help me grow? Does this matter in the grand scheme? If the answer is no, it's time to let it go. Let's make this real. Imagine you have two buckets. One bucket is labeled things that matter and the other is labeled things that don't. Start mentally sorting everything in your life into these buckets. Job stress that's out of your control, that goes in the things that don't bucket. Your health, your relationships with the people who truly care about you, your personal growth, those go in the things that matter bucket. Look at the second bucket, the one filled with things that don't matter. Why are you still carrying it around? Caring about less isn't about giving up, it's about choosing what's worth your time. It's about realizing that every hour you spend worrying about what someone thinks of you is an hour you could spend building something amazing. Every minute you waste scrolling through someone else's life is a minute you could use to improve your own. But this shift doesn't happen overnight. Your mind is like a garden, and right now it's probably overgrown with weeds, thoughts, habits, and worries that don't serve you. You don't clear a garden by ripping out every weed in one go. You do it one at a time, consistently, patiently. Start small. The next time you catch yourself caring about something that doesn't matter, whether it's someone cutting in line or a random comment on social media, pause. Remind yourself that this is a weed. It doesn't belong in your garden. Then let it go. Over time, this becomes a habit. You start to notice the weeds faster, and you pull them out before they take root. But here's the kicker: once you clear the weeds, you have to plant something better in their place. This is where the discipline of focus comes in. You can't just stop caring about the wrong things, you have to start caring deeply about the right things. What deserves your attention? Your health, your mindset, the relationships that truly matter, the work that brings you joy and purpose. These are the things worth caring about. And when you pour your energy into them, you'll notice something incredible. Life starts to feel lighter, simpler, more meaningful. But the discipline to care about less isn't just about what you do, it's also about how you think. The Stoics had a concept called amor fati, which means love of fate. It's the idea that you accept everything that happens to you, not with resistance, but with gratitude. This doesn't mean you have to enjoy every challenge or hardship. It means you stop wasting energy wishing things were different and start using that energy to respond in the best way possible. Let's break this down. Imagine losing your job. Most people would spiral, blaming themselves, blaming others, worrying about the future. But where does that get you? Nowhere. Instead, amor fati teaches you to accept the loss as a fact. It's happened. You can't change it. The only question is, what will you do next? Will you use this as an opportunity to pivot, grow, and find something better? Or will you let it drag you down? When you care about less, you stop fighting reality. You stop wasting time on things you can't change, and you start focusing on what you can. This is where freedom lives, not in avoiding problems, but in facing them with clarity and purpose. Let's bring this back to you. Imagine your life a year from now. If you stopped caring about all the things that don't matter, if you let go of the noise, the distractions, the ego-driven need for validation, what could you accomplish? Who could you become? Would you be healthier, happier, more focused? Would you have deeper relationships? Would you finally feel free? This isn't some abstract idea. It's a choice you can make every single day. And it starts small. Maybe today you decide not to care about that rude comment someone made. Maybe tomorrow you put your phone away and focus on a project that excites you. Maybe the day after, you finally let go of a grudge that's been weighing you down. These small moments add up. But don't just think about what you're letting go of. Think about what you're gaining. When you stop caring about the opinions of people who don't matter, you gain the freedom to be yourself. When you stop caring about things you can't control, you gain peace of mind. When you stop caring about distractions, you gain time and energy to focus on what truly matters. So here's the bottom line: life is short. Too short to waste caring about things that drain you, control you, or hold you back. The Stoics understood this, and their wisdom has endured for thousands of years for one reason: it works. When you care about less, you don't lose yourself, you find yourself. You don't need anyone's permission to live this way. You don't need to wait for the right moment or the perfect mindset. You can start right now. Decide what matters. Let go of what doesn't. And watch how everything changes. What's stopping you?